Hey guys, this is Zeri bringing you another video, and welcome to another patch note breakdown. And oh my god, it's patch 12.12, but the reason why I'm reacting in that way is I've been waiting for these to come officially live for the last few hours. They normally launch at like 7, it's nearly 9. The website version is still not working for some reason, so I'm actually on the client, and these ones have updated. So I've got no idea what's going on. Again, I guess it just happens occasionally. But yeah, we're going to be making this video. I'll be editing it, getting up on the YouTube channel as today's second video. So if you appreciate the effort, please do like the video because it does help out. And obviously leave your opinion down below. So obviously Riot is still playing partial catch up to the durability patch that they did a few patches ago. I am in the opinion that I think it was a resounding success. I think most people are. There are a group of players that still don't like it, and you can probably guess what type of champions those people play. Assassins. Even though most assassins are now fine, you just have to build as assassin, and I think that's what those players don't like. They want to still build as bruisers and still one-shot people. Anyway, let's get into what they're doing though. So again, a small little preview. We've got nerfs to Bel'Veth, surprisingly. I do think this champion is, again, you can see it very small, but she, unsurprisingly, and it's what I've pretty much said since her launch, she's brand new Master Yi. She pretty much sucks in high rating. That's kind of the gist, but she's very good in low rating because literally she's a Master Yi 2.0. Riot, I will say, is having a big tendency of making 2.0 versions of champions. If you actually look at the new champion Neela that I made, obviously the video on today, it would have been earlier, that kind of is just Samira 2.0. Also, I just noticed it's turned to the time that I have to turn the night light off. There you go, so I won't turn orange. But yeah, so she's basically Samira 2.0, and last champion Bel'Veth was Master Yi 2.0. So that's a bit weird. But anyway, Bel'Veth, Mundo, Fiora, Janna, Lucian, Singed mid specifically. I think I'm uploading a video of me against the Singed mid soon. I can't remember. It was a bit frustrating, but that's kind of the whole gist of Singed mid. It's Katarina on steroids. He doesn't care about mid. They perma roam, and that's why it's getting nerfed. Viego, and obviously Zeri. Unsurprisingly, again, you'll probably see Zeri in every single patch note. It's what I said last time. I think literally 2 weeks ago, she got that buff, and I was like, you'll see her again very soon. Why? Fundamentally broken kit. Every champion that Riot makes that has a fundamentally broken kit is either going to be permanently in patch notes, in nerf buff, nerf buff, nerf buff, and when eventually Riot gets bored of that, they'll probably just nerf her into the ground and leave her there probably for a year or two. That's what they did to Kalista and champions like that. So stop making champions with broken kits is what I gotta say. And then we got buffs to Amumu, Annie, Blitzcrank, Heimer, Ivern, Jarvan, Seraphine, and the weird one to me, Yorick. I don't think Yorick is actually weak. He's got that niche playstyle of basically playing PvE. Maybe they're actually trying to buff his PvP. We'll see what they do. We're getting a champion adjustments to Cat, Win, Shaco, Soraka, and Yumi. Getting new skins, which is Snow Moon, which will be available June 23rd, with also the new Ashen Knight, which is the old gemstone equivalent skin line, Hextech skin line. It's every year they're coming out with a different skin line. This year's is Ashen Knight, and that one is Pantheon. Some people have said, and I have heard, that the quality of the Pantheon one is not quite up there to the Pike one. They, I believe, did update the cloak of it or something to make it a bit better, matching the Pikes, because, you know, they both got cloaks, so why aren't the cloaks kind of the same? I guess that makes sense. So there's that. And then we're also getting system adjustments to Night Harvester, Serpent's Fang, Shadow Flame, and Predator. All right, let's get into it. Amumu. Don't really see this champion very much. Again, a week or two, maybe even 3 weeks ago, we played against that Master One-Trick Amumu. Again, I believe it's a video upcoming. We actually play against that same One-Trick Amumu, and he's like a Master Diamond 1 player. And again, partially you have to give props to it, because I don't know how you get that to that rating with Amumu. But that champion is really weak in comparison to meta things. He struggles, you know, that's the thing. He doesn't win any trades, his ganks aren't as good, his ult is decent for team fights, and that's basically his biggest strength. So they're just giving a big mana buff actually on his Q. So it starts at 30 from 70 on all ranks and then down to 50. So in early game, it's a huge buff and then still a buff at rank 5. And then the ultimate, the damage of it is going up by base. So 50 damage per rank up. So it's going to do a little bit, but in all honesty, it's not going to do that much. It's Amumu. His kit is very... how would I say, it's skill ceiling heavy, that in the fact that it's not even skill ceiling really, champion ceiling. There's only so much an Amumu can do. He can't do as much physically. The champion cannot do as much as modern equivalents, or not even equivalents. The assassin, bruiser champions in the jungle right now can just do a lot more. He can't go through walls, he can't gank and literally kill jungle camps in one go. Like, he can't do that. But other champions can. So that's one of his biggest limitations, and that's not going to address that at all. Annie. I do feel Annie's kind of dropped off a bit. Again, I played a lot of Annie either last season or the season before. I don't play Annie anymore. I actually have played, I would say, roughly 10 games of her this season, and they haven't gone very well. Maybe it's just because I'm in a higher rating bracket than I was last year, and I think champions like Annie, kind of like Amumu, struggle. The more basic champions, unless you're an absolute expert at them, you know, like Annie bot or someone of that nature, you're gonna struggle if you're just casually playing the champion of Annie in Master or Diamond 1 rating. So that might be why, but her damage of her Q is going up. 5% ability power ratio, so it's more late game scaling, which is never going to be a bad thing. And summon Tibbers, base health of Tibbers is going up by 100, and his base armor and magic resist is also going up by 10 at rank 2 and beyond. And then yeah, I mean, I don't think that's massively Annie's problem. Obviously that will help the Tibbers upgrade, that will help the new Annie build that's floating around. It's less about burst, because again, the burst in the game has generally been toned down. Leandri's Riley demonic build for Annie tends to be, I think, taking favor. That you're basically keeping Tibbers on top of multiple enemies in a team fight if you can, and he's just burning them all with Leandri's and everything, and that seems to be pretty effective. So if Tibbers is more tanky, that means he survives and deals more damage, so that's not too bad. Bel'Veth. So yeah, so the Empress of the Void is reigning with a bit too much terror in lower and average skill brackets. It's exactly what we've said. Unfortunately, she... Again, do I think Bel'Veth has got a broken kit? No, it's just the nature of her kit. It's very stat focused, it's auto attack heavy. If you don't have coordination, as an auto attacker, like that's the point, she's stat heavy, it just auto attacks you to death. If you don't coordinate against her, she can take over, and that's where like a Master Yi is strong in low rating. That's where a Tryndamere is really strong in low rating, because the coordination isn't as strong in silver than it is diamond. In diamond, you see Master Yi's getting just insanely wrecked. Kind of the same as Bel'Veth, to be fair. Unless you build a comp around Bel'Veth, like you've got a Lulu that's building Mikhails for the Bel'Veth, and every time she gets CC'd, boom, Mikhails. And then a zillion in mid lane that, oh, I revive you when you die inevitably in the middle of a team fight. Stuff like that would help her, but you're not always going to have that for solo queue, obviously. So that's the problem. So base stats are getting generally... base attack range is going up, health regeneration is going down, health regeneration growth is going down, and so all of that's down, apart from, you know, the attack range is going up. That's not too bad, 50 more. Passive, the attack speed you get per lavender stack is going down. But, and this is a potential Bel'Veth top lane question mark, Bel'Veth now gains 1 lavender stack per large minion, so a cannon minion now grants you a lavender stack. So could you take Bel'Veth in top lane? I'm sure people will give it a go. I had one Bel'Veth in top lane, and I believe he won that game. She didn't do a lot, from memory, and she didn't do much in lane at all, because you can't really take her in top lane until maybe now. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The E, minimum damage per hit, is going down, and the lifesteal is going down. A lot of nerfs. And then the ultimate... explosion damage based on target's missing health is just flat, 25 of all ranks, so it's a nerf from rank 2 onward. Bonus attack range is also going down, but obviously, again, you used to get 100 more range at, you know, when you ulted at rank 3, but she's gaining that anyway. So it's actually not a nerf, it's a neutralization. She actually gains it by base, but doesn't get it through her ult anymore. So it's technically a buff. And then the Void Remora health is going, well, it's scaling now, so it's not 70% straight away. And then there's a bunch of bug fixes, obviously. She's still going to be, again, not great in high rating. And maybe, I will say caveat to that, unless she's good in top lane and she's an amazing split pusher, then maybe she could work in top lane in high rating, maybe, because like Tryndamere can do really well. The amount of one-trick Tryndameres you have in Diamond 1 Master, at least on EU West, is a lot. He's a really effective ban, just to say, because there's a lot of people that rely on Tryndamere in Diamond 1 Master on EU West. Bel'Veth may be the same, or she may turn into the same. Blitzcrank, Q-based damage increased, or active-based damage increased. So the damage of his actual hook is going up. Not crazy. Not a crazy amount, but it's enough to make a little difference as a non-damage support. And then the ulti detonation damage when you're actually pressing it is, I don't know why strong is there, but it's going up by 25 each rank. Again, for a non-damage support, Blitzcrank doesn't build damage or anything of that nature. It will make a small difference, but it's not the type of thing that, it's not going to make people play Blitzcrank. This is more for people that play Blitzcrank. It'll feel a bit better. So there's that. Dr. Mundo, passive health regen decreased and R increased a base health decrease. Now, one champion I will say that I'm a bit surprised we are not seeing nerfs for yet is Aatrox. I'm not surprised with Mundo. You are starting to see Mundo. I'm not surprised with Fiora. You're seeing a lot of Fiora, but you're also seeing, at least I am, a lot of Aatrox. He's in the same world as these two champions, a bit too strong, too much healing, especially with Riot nerfing grievous wounds as much as they have. Champions like Mundo, Fiora, Aatrox, the healing intensive champions are really strong right now, at least from what I can see. Again, unfortunately, Riot's data that they care so much about may not back that up, but people that are playing the game can kind of go, they're a problem. And that's the unfortunate thing, as we've always said, Riot doesn't incredibly do well with balancing from the game point anymore. They just go off numbers, and numbers sometimes don't tell the whole story. Sometimes the feel of the game is more important, and that's where I feel Riot does let themselves down a fair amount nowadays. Years ago, I think it was a different balance team. You could tell that they did play the game, and actively, because they reacted to what was going on straight away. And even if a champion, again, Zeri, 44% win rate. This current balance team would never nerf Zeri in theory because, oh, he's got a 44% win rate in plat and above. Doesn't need a nerf. But everybody in the game would have agreed, even though he had a 44% win rate, when you have the feel of the game, oh god, that champion needed a nerf. That's the point. It's different. But anyway, his health regeneration is going down, and his maximum dosage increased base health is going down. Ooh, big nerf actually. At rank 3 at least, 5% increased base health is going down. So that actually is a pretty big nerf for Mundo. Poor lad. But again, I do think he is quite strong right now. Fiora, again, pretty much the top laner to play, kinda at the moment, I would say. Very satisfying to play, not too difficult, let's be honest. And is very good in current meta in a combination of, she's good against durability, and durability went up, and she also does very well with some of the, let's say, generous items that Riot, again, hasn't really completely taken control of. Again, Death's Dance, more Mortius, these items are very strong, and Fiora, again, Aatrox, can build both of those items. Passive AD ratio decreased though, so her passive. So bonus true damage, and again, this is where she just shreds through tanks. Used to be 3% plus 5.5% of per 100 bonus AD, and she used to get a couple hundred at least of bonus AD. It's now 3%, still the same, and then 4.5% per 100 bonus AD. So if Fiora ends up with over 200 AD, she will be now getting 9% extra, so a total of 12% of target's maximum health, where before she would have got like 11, she would have got 14 roughly. So it's a bit of a nerf. She'll still be good against tanks and stuff like that, but yeah, it's just toning down. It's like trimming off the top bit of like maybe where you'd vaguely use the term overpowered. They're just kind of getting rid of that. Heimer, don't see too much Heimer. He's pretty much a one-trick champion. So again, these are the type of changes that aren't really going to make a big impact to the player base. But Heimer players are absolutely probably loving that he's getting a buff or any type of attention because he normally doesn't. Q standard turret base health and damage increased and E cooldown decreased. Whoa, big buffs actually. So turret health is going up by 25 early. And then later, he's actually getting 125 more health on his turrets. That's actually quite a big deal. And then the damage was 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 plus 35% AP. It's now 7, 11, 15, 19, 23. So again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when there's 3 turrets attacking you at the same time, all pretty quickly, that damage does make a difference. So that is actually going to probably feel a lot better for Heimer. And then also his grenade, his stun, 1 second cooldown down. Again, those are just great buffs for Heimer. So again, it's not going to make people probably play Heimer, but it's going to make the people that already play the champion a lot happier. So why not? I don't think, he's not the type of champion that's ever going to become a massive problem. Ivern, passive health and mana costs reduced, E base shield increased, and Daisy base health, armor, and MR increased. So apparently Ivern was not doing well in the durability update. Again, he's not gonna, without sounding mean, he's never gonna do great in at least a solo queue environment, because solo queue environment for the majority of players is about carrying yourself. Ivern doesn't carry, he enables carrying. Like, he is a enabler, like that's what he does. And if you're playing Ivern, you're pretty much most games giving the power of carrying to your AD carry for the most part, sometimes the mid, but it's more about helping them. And if they're not great or they suck or whatever you want to say, that's where Ivern completely can fall apart because he can't carry. You can play good as Ivern. You can, there's a good Ivern player and a bad Ivern player, and there's a difference. But there's only so much you can do as Ivern. You're building as an enchanter support pretty much. So that's sometimes the problem with this type of champion, especially in the meta where pretty much all the junglers are hyper-aggressive, damage-orientated junglers. Not the best for Ivern, especially if he gets counter-jungled himself or he gets caught when he's trying to invade. It's a problem. But yeah, his passive base health cost, so the cost that it takes him to take health and mana of a jungle farm is going down pretty much by half, so that's pretty good for Ivern. The shield is going up, and Daisy is getting more health and more resist. So again, they're buffs across the board, but again, don't really think it's going to be a massive problem. Janna, W bonus move speed and slow decreased, E shield decreased. Yeah, Janna was definitely rising in popularity quite fast. She's strong. She's always been really strong in the hands of a good player, and that's the thing that I would say. The difference between a good Janna and a bad Janna, again, it might sound obvious, but like there are some champions that the gap between a good and a bad isn't that big. Garen, the more basic champions sometimes, there's only so much you can do. Like we said earlier, there's only so much you can do on an Amumu. Like the difference between a good one and a bad one a lot of the time isn't the mechanics, it's the decision making. Well, the difference between a good and a bad Janna is worlds apart. Again, mechanics, they'll be hitting their tornadoes, perfect ults, shielding at the right time. A lot about Janna is when to roam. That is quite a big part of her kit. And it might sound a bit dumb, but a big part of Janna is not dying. You'll notice that really good Jannas buy Medjais pretty much every single game because the champion really shouldn't die. So you can actually get yourself to 25 stacks of Medjais pretty easily, kind of like an Evelyn, but the support version. So yeah, like she's going to get some nerfs, but I do think that is fine. She's popping up in a lot of games. Bonus movement speed is going down. So that obviously will hurt her own mobility and roaming a little bit because she'll be slower. The slow when she actually uses the ability on somebody is also getting weaker by 4% across the board. So that's actually pretty decent. And the shield is also going down by 10 each rank. Yeah, 10 each rank and a 5% ability power nerf. So all across the board, Janna nerfs actually. So will she still be relevant? Probably. People still probably play her, but that is definitely like cutting off the top bit of the strength, as we've said before. Jarvan, mana growth increased. Passive cooldown now decreases with levels. So the problem that I will say with Jarvan is he technically fits into the meta. technically. He's a damage-orientated bruiser that can do utility, carrying, CC. Like, it works. It fits in. The problem that I think Jarvan has always had is he does sometimes feel old. You know, that's the thing. He does sometimes feel his age, that there are better versions of him now in League. Maybe is what I would say. So mana growth is going up, so he'll have more mana. Not bad. And then the cooldown of his passive, which again, a lot of people forget, he actually has a percentage health massive auto attack. It's like 10 or 12% straight away of someone's health. It was a 6-second cooldown. It starts at 6, but actually goes down to 3 seconds. That's a really nice buff. So will that make him more relevant? Maybe, but again, he still, in my opinion, sometimes feels his age a bit. Katarina. So this champion, obviously, even for me over the last year or two, quite a big trigger point for a lot of people in League. The problem with this champion is it's the, how do I say without sounding too bad? It's the playstyle, like we're going to see of that singed mid in a second when we see those nerfs. It's the idea that you don't have to care about your lane. That, I think, is one of the big things that people don't like about Katarina. But on top of that, Riot has done things to the champion that I know the player base of Katarina aren't too happy about, and that's fair. But Riot can't seem to make their mind up what they want her to be. She's originally designed just to be an AP assassin, you know, another AP assassin. But then they keep giving her on-hit things with her ulti. And then whenever you're giving a big, spammable, reset-y kind of champion on-hit, that's where it can kind of go out, you know, can kind of get a bit too crazy when a Katarina can use the likes of Kraken and Bladeru King or Divine or whatever it may be. It just isn't potentially healthy when she can use those items that aren't originally designed for that type of champion. So let's see what they're going to do. So bruiser and tank builds shouldn't work well on someone like Katarina, a hyper mobile resetting assassin, literally what I just said. We're making some slight adjustments to discourage only those itemizations. So that's what they're attempting. So magic damage upon retrieving the dagger, bonus AD ratio was 75%, it's now 65%. And the Shumpo, the E, used to do 20 to 75 damage with 50% AD, 25% AP ratio. It's now going up by base damage by 5, but a 10% AD ratio nerf, so you'll be actually doing less if you're building AD. And then your ultimate, which I guess is the biggest thing, was physical damage per dagger was 16% of, I think, your bonus AD. It's changing to still 16%, but it used to be 12.8 per 12.8 per 1 total attack speed. It's now 16%, but then 16% per 0.7 total attack speed bonus AD. So I don't see, again, and then on hit effect per dagger, 25 to 35 is now 28 to 38. How does that discourage? Am I missing something? How does that discourage exactly what they've just said? Like, yes, technically, if you're buying Kraken and Bladeru and King, the attack speed nerf you'll feel, but you're getting more on-hit effectiveness per dagger from the ult. So that, what? Like, if you wanted to discourage it, surely, in my mind, at least, again, not a complete expert in Katarina, I'm not going to pretend I am, but surely you'd, yeah, reduce the attack speed, scaling, but you'd also reduce the on-hit scaling and potentially give it AP ratios, right? If you want her to go back to being an AP champion, AP assassin, then give it AP ratio, not increase it. That's a bit odd in my book, but yeah. Anyway, Lucian, base AD decrease and Q base damage decrease late. Lucian's been shining in pro bot lanes. So yeah, this is a pro nerf. Again, I have spoke about Lucian for quite a while. Why did Lucian work so well when it hasn't? Well, it's been okay in solo queue, but you know, some Lucians cannot do great in solo queue, and it's like, oh my god, it's this amazing pro pick. It's the same as Renekton. It's the exact same kind of nature. Granted, Lucian does scale better than Renekton. But basically, pro play is fundamentally different. We've said this for years. They can pick Lucian, Nami, and pro play and build a whole comp around that with also putting the focus into that. when you've got a Lucian Nami, you're going to win lane in pro play. You just are. Like, that is a really strong lane. They're the best players. You're going to win that lane no matter what. Then that means you can get every single dragon. That means you can get the early tower with the jungle pressure that they'll give, then rotate to top lane, get even more tower plates, and you're so far ahead of the opponent AD carry, it doesn't matter that they scale better than you. You're like 1 or 2 items ahead at 20 minutes. Like, you could just focus end the game in pro play. That's not a solo queue thing, but Lucian still can partially do that in solo queue too, if your teammates are paying attention enough. So yeah, he's getting a bit of nerfs. So base AD is always going to hurt an early game champion or more early game champion. So it's only 2. It's not the end of the world. But then what I would say is quite disastrous for something like Lucian, who needs that little bit of late game scaling, because he doesn't scale as well as other AD carries. You know, he just doesn't. But usually where a Lucian has his strength, as mentioned, is he's just simply ahead of the opponent AD carry by late game. He's an item ahead at least. So he's okay in strength. If ever the game gets, you know, every single champion has 6 items, that's where a Lucian can struggle. When he's not an item ahead of a Vayne or something like that, he will struggle then, or a Zeri. But that's the point. So he's losing some late game scaling in his damage of his Q starting at rank 2. That will feel rough, I will say. That won't feel good. But his ultimate will still be strong. You know, that's one of the good things that Lucian has. Seraphine, E cooldown reduced early and no longer decreases with rank, slow, stun, duration increase. Seraphine hasn't been making sound waves or boosting her CC. I will say, again, it might be being uploaded. I can't remember. Again, I've had today off and my brain's a bit funky. I've had all allergy tests and stuff today and my arms are just continuously itching. So my brain isn't in full gear. I had a Seraphine mid the other day, and oh my god, she was useless. So I do think her place is in bot lane as a support, and I know some people won't like me saying that. Whatever. But her mid lane seems to be very lackluster. But this seems to be maybe helping a bit in terms of making her a bit more useful. So again, her cooldown of an E was starting at 11, going down to 9. It's now 10, so it's technically a nerf from rank 4 onwards, which is a bit weird if they're trying to buff it, but it's being leveled out because the slow stun duration, again, slow or stun depending how many you hit, or if the target's already slowed, you hit just 1 E, they'll then be stunned. It's going up by 0.5, so it's a 50% buff to the duration of the CC, so that's actually pretty good. That can make the difference, that stun duration, hitting the stun, then landing your ultimate. Sometimes, because a 1 second stun duration is nothing, if the target was quite far away, 1 second CC is basically nothing, they could get out of the way of your Seraphine ult. Well, maybe the extra 0.5 seconds will make them stay in Seraphine ult, but we'll see. Shaco, base health growth and armor growth decreased, Q-AD ratio increased, W-AP ratio increased, E-AD and AP ratios increase. So yeah, so Shaco has been struggling. You know, one of the assassins that, even though he does build assassin, he can struggle. I will say, as I think most people potentially will not be surprised, AD Shaco to me is just way better. Good AP Shacos, I would actually use the word of scary. And then you have AP Shaco that is just absolutely rubbish. I will stand by that. You know, yes, there's going to be some players that will be crazy good at Shaco. There's some players that, as you know, they're crazy good at Amumu. There's outliers for every single champion. But if you take an average Shaco in any rank, the AD one will be doing better than the AP one. On average, the AP one is going to do nothing. Like, on average. So, to me, the AD one is a lot better. I'm actually... If I load into a game of League and it's an AD Shaco, it will actually make me think about where Shaco is. If I notice, oh, the Shaco's building AP, I pretty much think the game's a win straight away. That's the difference. But anyway, health growth is going down, so he's going to be less tanky, which maybe, again, they're doing that to make him less tanky, but make him more assassin-y. The armor growth is also going down, so he is squishier than he used to be. But then his Q is going... Ooh, wow. Ooh, that's a big buff. His Q, the Deceive Physical Damage Extra, is going up by 15% bonus AD. That is a huge buff for late game Shaco, at least. Yeah, that's really big. That is scary, actually. And then, yeah, they are buffing the magic damage and, you know, the magic damage-ness of AP Shaco. You know, some of the strength of that is obviously the boxes. 3% more ability power scaling. It'll, you know, that is better scaling. I still don't think it'll be very good, but it'll be good. There you go, it's getting a buff. And then the Shiv, also mainly mainly AP, has to be said, is also getting buffed because it's a magic damage ability that by base is staying the same. It's getting a 5% bonus AD ratio. It was 70, now 75, and a 10% AP scaling. So it was 50, now 60. So across the board damage buffs for Shaco, but tanky nerfs. So making him more of an assassin. That's the point. Assassins should not survive easily. They're an assassin. That's part of the problem that people had with assassins so often, like for the last couple of years before the durability update, and maybe even after it with some use cases like Rengar and stuff. But they were too tanky for still one-shotting people. They could just jump into 5 people, kill 1 or 2 people, and kind of walk out. That's not what an assassin is supposed to do. An assassin is, I am going to sacrifice myself, potentially, to kill their hyper AD carry. Like, if they've got a Vayne or a Cogball, I'm going to kill them, but I'm going to die. But that's what an assassin's supposed to do. That's the point. Singed. W slow decreased early, increased late, and now increases with rank. R bonus stats decreased early and increased late. So Singed mid has always been quite strong, but the recent systematic changes have thrown him over the edge into OP territory. When nerfing his early or run at you power, so his squishier lane opponents have a chance to escape or at least fight back. So again, what I would say, the thing with Singed, again, would I call it overpowered the strategy? Potentially, but it's not Singed. It's more that you just can get away with not laning a lot in nowadays. I don't know why, but Singed can basically not be in mid lane for half of the lane phase, and it doesn't really matter to the game, because if he just goes bot lane, helps get a double kill, returns the mid laner can't kill the Singed. That's the point. So yeah, so the slow is going down early but increased late, and the again bonus stats, again same thing. So he won't be as obnoxious early game, but Singed is a pretty good scaling champion, even I know that, and he's going to be stronger late game with both of those things. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. That doesn't really address the problem of Singed mid to me at all. And maybe, again, that to me shows that Riot doesn't know how to deal with it, and maybe next patch we'll see another change to Singed where they're trying to actively stop it if they wanted to. Soraka. Oh, wow. So the heal is going up for her ulti, but it no longer removes grievous wounds from her targets. That was a big thing when they introduced that, and they're already taking it away. Wow. Okay. Viego, passive heal decreased. W while casting E no longer instantly stealths. R damage against most wounded or closest enemy decreased. The thing with Viego, again, fundamentally a broken champion, broken kit. The only thing that I would say that ever will make Viego feel better to play against is stop him being kind of immune when he's absorbing someone with his passive. That's the biggest problem with this champion. He can just play so ballsy, dive towers, do whatever he wants. And I know towers do damage to him while he's doing it, but champions can't for a couple seconds. That's the biggest problem. They need to change that, and they're not at the moment. So he is healing less. So, you know, a base heal upon possession was 2.5 of target's maximum health. It's now 2, so a little bit of a nerf there. He is also then getting a stealthy stun. So again, I've always said what happens to broken champion kits eventually. If they can't seem to balance the champion, they start removing mechanics. That's what they do. It's the only way. If they can't balance it through numbers, they only can start taking mechanics away. They did it with the Akali rework very famously. That champion is like half of the mechanics it has from when that launched. And it's starting now with Viego. So casting E, harrowed pass while charging W, no longer instantly stealths you. So that was a good mechanic that high rating Viego's definitely used. They can't now. And then the R, bonus physical damage was 15, 20, 25% plus 3% per 100 AD. It's now 12, 16, 20. So a 5% nerf at rank 3, a 3% nerf at rank 1. So again, that is a nerf. But again, still, to me at least, doesn't completely address the biggest problem with the champion. I've also noticed that we've been going pretty long for this patch, and we've still got a bit to go. Yorick, we might speed this up because, again, it is actually getting really late, and I've had a bit of a day. Yorick, Mist Walker base health and move speed increased. Maiden of the Mist base health increased. And target range based on E decreased. I am worried them buffing Yorick, if I'm completely honest, because again, I know it's just my personal opinion, but I don't like stuff like Yorick when Hullbreaker exists and his playstyle is that anyway. To me, it's not the healthiest playstyle. I was actually hoping that, you know, Hullbreaker would eventually get removed. Again, really, in reality, only 2 to 3 champions use that item. Is it worth having an item in the game that has that kind of playstyle when only 2 to 3 champions really use it? I don't know. But yeah, I don't think this is going to make Yorick OP or is going to make him meta, but for people that already play this playstyle that with Yorick, this is, I guess, just a good thing for them. So there's that. Yumi, yeah. Passive shield increased, E base heal decreased, bonus movement speed increased. So her own shield, when she auto attacks people out of being attached, which half of Yumi's don't even do, is getting buffed. The heal is going down, so less of a heal, but she's giving more movement speed to her target as the trade-off. Zeri, health regen growth increased, W base damage increased, AD and AP ratios decreased. People were telling me about this new AP Zeri build. I actually hadn't seen one at all, but people were telling me that it was very obnoxious, and I think that's mainly what they're trying to get rid of at the moment or something, so that she's getting more health regen growth, and then yeah, the W damage is going on base, it's actually going up, and it was 150% AD scaling, it's now 130, and it was 70% AP scaling, it's now 60, and then the crit strike chance is also getting nerfed a fair amount just on her W, so there's that, I guess. Night Harvester, adding some ability haste into Night Harvester's build path. So there's that. And that'll be nicer for people that build that. Serpent's Fang was reducing shields by a lot more than intended thanks to a bug. We expect the fix will lead to a nerf, so we're calling it out instead. So they're just leaving it, but they're fixing a bug. Shadow Flame. On the contrary, Shadow Flame was underperforming due to a different bug, that mitigated its damage based on the very magic resist it was supposed to ignore. Oh, that's good. So that will be better now, so that's nice. Predator, they're nerfing. Again, partially, I will say, probably to Singed Mid, because he uses that quite well. And maximum bonus movement speed used to be 45%. It's now 25 to 50, so it scales now with your level. Damage of it also is going down in the early game, but up in late game, potentially up in late game. So again, making it less obnoxious in the early game. And the cooldown of it also a 30-second nerf in the early game. So that's just, again, if I'm completely honest, that is for Singed Mid. That is the nerf that basically he just kept leaving lane in the early game. He kept leaving lane every 90 seconds. As soon as Predator's on cooldown, down to bot lane I go. That he can't do it as much anymore. They'll still do it, but there's that. Currently, if you dash or blink into a jungle monster or ward's visible range, there's a very brief delay before you gain vision of them. This can lead to some frustrating moments, so we're changing that to be instantaneous. So there's that. So that's better. Essence Emporium is coming. Mythic content, so Mythic Chromas are going to be available, and it's the first ever Mythic Chroma for final boss Viego will be available during patches 12.12, the one that's coming now, through 12.13. So when it comes to 12.14, it will be gone. So get it if you want to. It's going to cost the 40 Mythic Essence. And then Mythic Chromas update as skins VFX in addition to its model. They're launching for legendary skins as well as Mythic skins for like Ashen Knights. So yeah, we'll be getting a bunch of them, which is cool. And then you're getting the updated Mythic shop. Behavioral systems, muting a player during champ select will now carry over to in-game and end of game. That also means that muting someone in-game will carry over to the end of game. Additionally, individual players' mute status can now be viewed and toggled in the end of game screen. People have been asking this for years. The only thing I will say, again, last patch, Riot obviously did the change that if you, by default, the end of game lobby, the chat is off. You've got to click into that box to see it. People do not use that anymore. Like, I do click into that box most games just to see. People do not type there at all. I would say before the patch, in every 10 games, I would have said maybe 6 to 7 matches people would have typed there. Admittingly, mainly negative things, mainly. Now, I would say it's in out of 10 games, 1 to 2 matches per 10 games, people are typing in there. Again, mainly negative things. So it isn't the biggest loss in the world. We're getting Clash, which, by the way, I might be doing, just as a reminder, everybody, this upcoming Saturday is my subathon. The first on the Saturday, or the 25th. It's a 24-hour stream if we make the timer go that long. And in the evening, I'm actually planning on potentially doing Clash. We haven't got a full team yet. I actually don't know who's going to be in the team. I think I've already got me and one other player. So we might have to just fill up the lobby with some randoms in the Twitch chat or just Twitch subs. And it might not be the most balanced Clash team in the world. Because, again, I think it's me, that's like Master Diamond 1. I think it's Shmeon, who's Master Diamond 1. And I don't know who else it's going to be. So potentially it's going to be a bit of a fiesta, but that might be a bit of a laugh. Challenges are getting some updates. So read through them. Bug fixes. And there we go. So actually a pretty big skin. So there's also the final boss Viego stuff, which is pretty cool. But there we go. Biggest patch, actually. 40-minute video. Jesus Christ. If you guys enjoyed, please do leave your opinions down below. And do like it if you appreciate the effort of getting all done. And you'll be literally watching this in only a couple of hours. But yeah, that will mean a lot if you do. And that's going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down!